seen. Still something in me remembers things. Hands no rhythm, my mind can't trace. Like I've been shaped by another place. There's a fire in me I didn't light. Still it burns through every night. Call it memory, call it truth, but it don't feel new. They don't knock, they just arrive in every breath that keeps me alive. I'm not walking alone. I feel them here in every doubt, in every tear. They left their footsteps in my soul. Now I'm following what I don't know. Every choice got a ghost behind. Every dream ain't fully mine. I am the voice they couldn't be. Now they echo through me. Now they echo through me. Why do I ache for things unseen? Why do I carry what I don't mean? Cycles spinning like deja vu.
We are daughters of sun and stone. The desert carries our names, the wind our stories. Every step we take presses the memory of our mothers into the earth. We walk forward, not as shadows of a broken past, but as the dawn itself. Each grain of sand remembers our courage. Each star above answers our call. In the hush between lives and new dreams, had it been waste, in the time conscious church. We in the sand house and release into the sky, and the sky remembers. When the first light finds us, it will find us moving forward. Each step is a claim, each breath a promise. The lands remember our mothers, our grandmothers. We are the daughters of Nubia and of Egypt. You are us.
Welcome to Echoes of the Ancestors, episode number 5. We're stepping into St. Augustine, Florida. And I need y'all to really lock in with me on this one. This stop right here carries a different kind of spirit on it. Where Savannah brought us into memory, bloodline, grief, and what the land itself had. St. Augustine brings us into movement. What it meant when our people were no longer just trying to survive what was happening to them, but trying to find a way out. When I say out, I don't mean physically. I mean spiritually, emotionally, generationally. This is one of those places that brings up what it means to reach for freedom when all you know is survival. This place matters more than what the surface version people like to give it. When most people talk about St. Augustine, tell you it's the oldest city. They're going to talk about the old buildings, streets, the Spanish architecture, and all that cleaned up tourism talk, But that's not the real. For this place, the real is St. Augustine became one of the places our people could run to. It was one of those rare places where enslaved Africans in the British colony started hearing that if they could make it down there was at least a possibility of freedom. I don't want you to think it was safe for them, because that's romanticizing what it really is about. Romanticizing freedom. No, I want you to really understand that it was a possibility. And when you really sit with that, that changes everything. Now, this is not a place where things happen to our people. This is a place where our people moved. They moved. They made the moves. And the story changed from being about bondage and started opening up into risk, resistance, decision making, and survival. This time with intention. That matters because we don't always talk enough about what it costs to move towards freedom. We say people escaped, they ran, they made it out. But what does that really, really mean? That meant leaving behind what you knew, not knowing who would betray you, who would help you, whether you make it or you die trying, whether what you heard was even true. That means you have fear in one hand and hope in the other and moving away. Sit with that for about a moment. See, feel, imagine yourself thinking about that, knowing that in your spirit and how that moves you. Because it's not just a, oh wow, they escaped. No. This is people risking everything because staying where they were was no longer an option. This episode today starts getting deeper than a history lesson. When you really tap into St. Augustine, this place starts bringing up questions that still hit us now. What does it mean to leave? What does it mean to trust a new path when all you've known is struggle? What does it mean to move towards something that you've never seen before? But something in you knows that you can't stay where you are. This has a strong ancestral charge on it. It's changing the energy of crossing over, crossing out of bondage, out of fear, out of limitation, and what was trying to keep people stuck in that spiritual too. A lot of us are still living the same kind of pattern in different ways. Not always physically running, but trying to figure out how to leave behind old cycles and pain and old bloodline survival patterns, old ways of thinking, our own old selves that were built just to make it through. So when we look at St. Augustine, we just don't see a historical place. We see a place that holds the energy of transition, movement. What happens when survival starts reaching towards freedom? That sacred and ancestral is the kind of history that gets into your spirit if you let it. Where Savannah felt like a memory sitting still and waiting for you to notice it, St. Augustine feels like footsteps, movement through fear, uncertainty, through land and water, through prayer, through instincts, whatever had to be crossed just to make it to the possibility of something better. I think that's why this place carries what it carries. You can feel that this land was not just witnessing pain, it was witnessing people
trying to get free. That makes this land holy in a whole different way. This land right here, this is where some of our people ran to live. Welcome to Blended Healing. Welcome to the Ancestors, the Echoes of the Ancestors, Episode 5. We are now traveled from Savannah. Now we are in St. Augustine, Florida. Why does St. Augustine matter? It matters in a way that doesn't always reflect on these times. Sometimes you don't get the tourist version of things when it comes to your family and your ancestors. This place holds the reality of how our people had to think, move, and decide in situations where nothing was clear or promised. This is how they moved inside of it. They had to pay attention, pick up on what was changing and how they made choices without having a full picture, but still knowing that they couldn't stay where they were. That is a flash of reality. This ain't just no history sitting in the past. This place reflects back how people had to go about things with awareness, with instinct, more than just logic. They didn't have the luxury of overthinking everything. They had to read the moment, live in the moment, and feel what was right and act on it. That takes something really, really, really deep down inside, man. Something strong. That's a different kind of strength. It's called grounded knowing. The same kind of energy still shows up now. Different circumstances, but the same kind of pressure. Having to make decisions without knowing everything, having to trust yourself when things don't feel sure. Sometimes you have to choose a different direction. And that bothers a lot of people because who wants to go into something without knowing? Being led by faith and not by sight. Right? And that's what this place has. It holds that kind of movement. So when you look at St. Augustine through those lenses, it's not just about what happened here. It's about what it teaches. How many people moved when they had every reason to freeze and didn't? That's why this place matters. That's why. I'll be right back after this.
Every dream ain't full in my mind. I am the voice they couldn't be. Now they echo through me. Now they echo through me. Time floating in my veins. Past and present feel the same. I heal something I can't see. Still illusions inside of me. Every step I reclaim breaks a chain I never named. And somewhere back in history, they breathe easier through me. I'm not walking alone. I carry the name in every loss, in every game. They planted seeds I didn't see. Now they rising up. Every tear got a sacred wife. Every foe got 1,000 tries. I am the prayer they couldn't speak. Now they echo through me. Echo, echo. Now they echo me. Echo, echo. Through me. Echo, echo.
On this low coast where sand gives way to marsh and tide, St. Augustine rose 4 centuries ago. The Spanish chose a patch of higher ground ringed by creeks and barrier islands to anchor their outpost. Here, Africans, some free.
Along this edge of northeast Florida, salt marshes and sandbars created a labyrinth of water and grass. In the 1700s and 1800s, enslaved people slipped into the maze at night, rowing toward these barrier islands near St. Augustine. In morning light, gardens took root among the ruins. Hands that once rode through darkness turned the soil, fed families, and shaped a home. Their children grew up hearing the surf.
The first thing the ancestors are wanting the collective to understand is that there's still life, fire, and spirit connected to this place. So right away, this is letting us know that this place is tied to movement toward a new beginning, even if it came through struggle and uncertainty and risk. Something is trying to wake up.
Something is trying to wake up. And I did see that. It flashed in front of me, somebody taking like a long stretch and a big yawn. Something is trying to reconnect and trying to push people out of their own way and into motion. Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am.
This place, it's beautiful. Fort Mose. In Fort Mose, they were living, organizing, protecting each other, building community, and creating structure. After everything they'd been through, they made music, they broke bread, they taught their children they were free. That kind of courage doesn't just survive, it grows. And it set them free, echo, echo. Set them free. Eating time. What was theirs is showing up in mine. I'm not walking alone. I feel them near in every doubt, in every tear. They left their footsteps in my soul. Now I'm following what I don't know. Every choice got a ghost behind. Every dream ain't fully mine. I am the voice they couldn't be. Now they echo through me. Now they echo through me. Time floating in my veins. Past and present.
Welcome back. This is the land is holding collective message for St. Augustine. This collective message, it's not just about historical places. It's talking about what happened there. It's also tapping into the ancestors that connected to these places and listening for what they may still be trying to say through the land, memory, and through what gets stirred up in the bloodline when we return. And with a place like St. Augustine, all of that right there is a possibility that may come up. This is not just old ground. This is a crossing ground, survival ground, decision-making ground where some of our people were trying to get to something they hoped could change their lives. So now we're going to ask the ancestors of this land, Ashe, Ashe. I prayed over the cards. I've tapped into, or I'm right now tapped into the ancestors of St. Augustine, Florida. These messages are coming through them. Some of them came out very, very fast. I'm taking them in succession of the way they came. Question number 1. What are the ancestors of this land wanting the collective to understand right now? The card came out, passion ignited. The ancestors are wanting the collective to understand that there's still life, fire, and spirit connected to this place. What matters when people hear history like this, they automatically go straight into grief, pain, loss, and everything that was taken. All of that is real. But the first thing that came through was passion ignited. That is not by accident. This feeling is the ancestors' way of saying, do not come here and only see the suffering. Don't focus on what was done to our people without also recognizing what was still alive in them. This carries spark, drive, life force, and something in the spirit that refused to fully die. The associated number of this card is 1. We already know that the number 1 carries the energy of new beginnings, initiation, and the start of something. So right away, this is letting us know that this is a place that's tied to movement toward a new beginning, even if it came through struggle and uncertainty and risk. If we're really sitting in St. Augustine the way that we're supposed to, that makes perfect sense. Because this is one of those places where some of our people were trying to get to a different possibility for themselves. This also feels like the ancestors are speaking to the collective directly and saying there is still something in you that wants more, that is still trying to come alive, trying to rise and trying to move toward what is meant for you. This card is also saying that there's a spiritual spark being activated now. Something is trying to wake up. And I did see that. It flashed in front of me. Somebody is taking a long stretch and a big yawn. Something is trying to reconnect and trying to push people out of their own way and into motion. This is also to remember what was still burning in us while we were going through. This is what they understood right now. Ashe. Question number 2. What is still sitting in the land spiritually? Balance. That's interesting because when people hear the word balance, they usually think peace, harmony, everything being in order. But this is not how this feels to me. It feels more like the ancestors are bringing attention to the fact that this land is still holding a tension between two realities. I did hear a tale of two cities in one, almost like the tale of two. There's two different sides of the coin. That's what I'm getting. I feels like it's still sitting here spiritually, balanced as a negotiation, as something people had to fight to create for themselves in the middle of instability. Trying to keep your spirit together while carrying all that uncertainty and fear, responsibility and survival all at the same time. That kind of energy absolutely can stay in the land. When a place has held that much decision making, that much emotional pressure, life hanging in the balance, it makes sense that there's a spiritual residue here. It would still feel like people trying to gather themselves, and that's what I get from that. It feels like the ancestors are pointing out something deeper to the collective too. This card does not feel historical, but it also feels very current. Spiritually, what is still sitting here is the energy of trying to restore order after disruption, and that's real. Balance is not always something you naturally have. It's something that you had to learn because life keeps throwing too much at you. And this land still feels like it remembers that. Ashe? All right. Question number 3. What did our people carry while trying to get there? Partnerships and alliances. That right there is real. Because one thing about it, nobody was making moves like this completely on their own. This already is letting you know that connection mattered. Who you trusted mattered. How you moved and who listened, who you listened to, rather than it matters. It matters. When you think about it, what it took to even try to get somewhere like this. This was not something you could just wake up and do by yourself with no support, no information, and no guidance. Some kind of shared knowledge was being passed along, whether it was coded or not, through word of mouth, but something was being exchanged. And that's what this card is bringing up. It's showing that our people carried each other. It was a collective. I think that matters because sometimes history gets told like people were just out there on their own, just running blind. But this is telling you, no, absolutely not. That's not the truth. There was a connection involved. This also speaks to something deeper in the bloodline, too. This card is showing that even in the middle of uncertainty, our people knew how to find each other, how to work together, and knew how to lean on connection in order to survive. This is a reminder for the collective now because a lot of people try to do everything by themselves, try to hold on to things alone and try to figure out everything without support. And this is saying that that's not how we got through. That's not how we made it. There's something in the bloodline that understands community, alignment, and shared movement. And this place is bringing that back because that our people carried was not just fear, they carried each other. Ashe? All right. Let me take a sip of water. Give me 1 second. Question number 4. What is this location activating in the bloodline? Spiritual union. Spiritual union. This right here is deep. This is not talking about any type of, this is a deep connection, point blank, period. This is something that goes beyond just people coming together physically. It's talking about alignment on a deeper level, spirit to spirit, bloodline to bloodline, ancestor to descendants. This feels like this place is activating a reconnection, not just with other people, but with yourself. St. Augustine, where people had to move with instinct, faith, and inner knowing, that kind of energy doesn't go away. It moves forward. So what this is bringing up in the bloodline is that deeper connection, inner alignment. Like when you come into a place and you don't fully understand why it's hitting you the way it is, but something in you is responding anyway. This also feels like the ancestors are saying that we are not as disconnected as we think we are. Places like this can activate that. I'm also picking up that this is not just about connection, it's about realignment. Some people may feel pulled back into themselves and pulled back into their truth when you are faced with this kind of history and this kind of energy. It can change your perspective. This card is also showing that healing is not just an individual, it's a relation. It's ancestral. is spiritual, something that happens across time, not in just one moment. So what this place is activating is that awareness, excuse me, that connection, that knowing that you are not separate from what came before. That's powerful. Because once that connection is felt, even if it's just a little bit, it's going to change how you move. I'll say that. Please take what resonates with you and leave the rest. Let us continue on our journey. Ashe.
COC. Collaboration over competition.
I tried to tell you. I tried, but it's cool, you know. As I sit back in my cloud car and I ride around and hover over in different places on social media, to my surprise, people are still drinking the Kool-Aid. No harm, no foul, no judgment zone here. I want my people to win every time. So if you catch me floating by, just know I'm rooting for you. Even from up here. Always. Like cloud car and gear, let's see what they're drinking today. Unbelievable. They're sipping lies like it's candy water. Different platforms, same cup. If I could get just one of them to look up. Maybe they taste what they're swallowing. Keep moving. There's still time. Hold tight, folks. I'm not done yet. What is going on over here? Let me pull up for a better view. What's going on down there? Blended girl, keep driving. Don't you touch down anywhere. Keep driving. Let's see where this takes us.
D, don't touch down no place. Don't touch down. We're in the Zen zone. Remember the meditation today. Don't you dare touch down. Alicia, don't touch down.
Come on, Kels. There's a cool music studio down. I gotta go. I'm dragging Mouthpiece with me.
Yeah. Big blessings on blessings, Queen. Man. You already know. Okay. Hey, yeah.
People make the vision clear. Hands linked strong, we can't be denied. Healing in the circle, ancestors by our side. Stand together, we gon' rise forever. COC.
Salute to the COC. Salute. Please make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to all of the members in the COC. Their links are in the chat. Let's talk about Fort Mose. The truth of this land. This is where things really start changing. Because when you get into Fort Mose, we are no longer just talking about the possibility of freedom. I need you to really get that. We're talking about what it looked like when our people actually got somewhere and made a life out of whatever little opening that had. This is where this place moves beyond history. This is ancestral reality. This was not just people trying to get away from something. These people building something after they got there. And that is a real deal in a real way. A lot of times, right, when people tell Black history, they focus on pain, escape, struggle, and what was done to us. But they don't always stay long enough with our people did once they found even a little room to breathe. Fort Mose is one of those places that reminds you our people were never just existing day to day. They were creating, laying some type of foundation, trying to make something out of nothing. And what was in front of them? The ground beneath them wasn't secure, though. This not people hiding out, trying not to be seen. These people were living, organizing, protecting each other, building community, and creating structure. They were figuring out how to exist with dignity after everything that they already had been through. That says something powerful. Because even after fear, risk, and after everything it took to get there was still enough in them to build a life. That is ancestral. That is bloodline. Fort Mose is not just getting out. It represents what was created after arrival. And that deserves just as much attention than anything else, because that takes vision and strength and ability to imagine more for yourself, even after the world try to reduce you. That takes holding on to something inside of you that refuses to be taken. And when you look at it from that perspective, it says a lot. Our people were not empty. They had knowledge, instinct, faith, discipline, and the ability to build whatever they wanted and what was available to them. And that right there is something that needs to be understood, because Fort Mose shows that our ancestors were not just existing through history, they were shaping their own future inside of it. That's why St. Augustine, Florida is important. Fort Mose is one of those places that remind you that our people created, protected, and made life happen anyway, in spite of. And when you connect to that, you can feel both sides at one time. You can feel the relief of getting somewhere new, and you can recognize that everything did not suddenly become safe or secure. This is freedom that had to be protected, defended, and that required awareness and intention. That truth did not disappear. A lot of people today still move with the same energy, finally getting somewhere better, but staying alert, building something, but watching over it. Peace had to be maintained. This is bloodline memory, and Fort Mose brings that right to the surface. This is not simple freedom. This was something that had to be held on to with care and intention, and that energy does not just disappear. So when I look at this place, I just don't see a black settlement. I see what it means when our people were given even the smallest opening and still created life inside of it. That's one of the most sacred things about this land. Ashe. All right. We're going to get right back into it. We're going to go right back into the collective message and pick up on all of the questions that the ancestors had. All right. All right. Question number 6. What truth about survival is this place trying to reveal? The ancestors said truth. Truth. What truth about survival is this place? The truth card came out, believe it or not. This card came out plain on purpose, because sometimes the ancestors are not trying to dress something up. They're trying to say it exactly the way it is. The truth that this place is trying to reveal is that survival was never just physical. It was mental. It was spiritual, emotional, and instinctual. Okay? That's the truth. This matters because a lot of people hear the word survival and only think about pain. They think about what somebody went through and what somebody endured and what somebody had to make out of it. This card is showing that survival also requires clarity. If our people were trying to get somewhere like St. Augustine, then they had to know one thing for sure: where they were could not be the end of the story. That's the truth. They had to come in contact with some kind of inner knowing that said that there was to be something else. And that right there is deep. A lot of survival starts with that exact moment, that exact realization and spiritual and emotional truth where something in you says, I cannot stay here forever. I have to keep living. I have to live. I can't keep accepting what is breaking me. That's what this truth feels like. It's revealing. And if we bring it into the bloodline, into the collective right now, the message still is relevant. There are a lot of people right now who are standing in situations, cycles, mindsets, relationships, family patterns, their old selves. They already know are not where they are supposed to stay. But moving from truth into action is the part that scares people. This land knows something about that. What it means to have truth hit you before the path is fully clear. So what this place is revealing is not just how our people fought to live. It also reveals that survival sometimes begins with the moment you become honest about what is no longer livable. And once that truth enters you, it changes everything. Ashe? All right. Question number 7. What are the ancestors saying about movement, risk, and trusting the path ahead? Memories of love. Memories of love. This is powerful in a way that people might not expect, because when you think about movement, risk, and making those kinds of decisions, most people think about fear first. But the ancestors are bringing something else up. They're bringing up love. This feels like they're saying that this isn't just fear that moved our people. It was love. Love for themselves, their people, their ideal of something better. Love for life, that they had to exist beyond what they were experiencing. Because when you really think about it, you don't risk everything just because you're scared. That's what guided movement is about. This also feels like the ancestors are saying that love is not separate from decision making. It's actually part of it. Choices that were made were not just getting away, but they're about going toward something, toward family, community, a different way of living. And if we bring that into the present, that message still stands. People are trying to make moves in their life right now. And they're leading with fear instead of asking themselves what they really actually love and value and what they want to move towards. The ancestors are saying, remember that part. And that's what this place is bringing up. Ashe? All right. Question number 8. What emotional or spiritual residue is still attached to this place? Conflict and defeat. And that makes perfect sense. Even though this place holds movement, possibility, and a chance at something more, What does not erase it, what it cost to get there, and what people had to go through before they even made it into a place like this. It doesn't erase what was waiting on the other side once they got there. This feels like the ancestors are bringing up the energy of the struggle that does not just disappear because somebody found a new location. Excuse me. Sometimes people make it somewhere else physically, but their spirit is still trying to come down from everything it had to endure. That's what it feels like to me. Conflict and defeat. It feels like a residue of being pushed, chased, cornered, and having to fight for every little bit of ground. When people got somewhere, they offered more than where they came from. That does not mean that all that other stuff disappeared overnight. Some of that stayed in the spirit, the mind, the body, and the land. Too often, people want to talk about freedom or movement without talking about what came with it emotionally. This also feels relevant for the collective right now because a lot of the people are still trying to move forward while holding on to old conflict in their spirit, defeat in their mind, and patterns of expecting things to go wrong, for things to fall apart, expecting peace to be temporary. So that is still attached to the place, emotionally and spiritually, the memory of fight, pressure, and the residue of what it meant to keep going while being worn down. And that deserves to be acknowledged too. Ashe? All right. May these messages find you well. Please take what resonates with you and leave the rest. I'll be right back.
Smoking nerves, energy shine. Every drop, every scent. She my essential.
Then you see here, clean, set, quick grab deals. $20 becomes $12, 40% off. Single items only. No bundles, no extras. Different scents, different blends. All moving. If you've been waiting to try something, this is your moment. $12 each. Limited stock on every item. Once it's in the learning. It's our provides. Available right now at ChamakaEssentials.com. Tap the site, fill your cart, and you're set. Start saving today.
Shows my heart's content. Jamaica Essentials, house of blessings, mine. Spray so low, feel the magic.
Welcome back. Please take advantage of the 40% off while supplies last. The link is in the chat and it's also in the description box. All right, we're coming up on an hour and I do have to cover a few more things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to end this today and then I'll pick it up, the rest of it, maybe not Sunday, but maybe on Monday. Sunday's a high holy day for most people, and it's family time. Well, you could get up listening to Blended while you're preparing your meal. I'll think about it. But anywho's, the expansion continues. And I want to thank you for stopping in on episode number 5 of Echoes of the Ancestors. I hope you're getting something out of this. Let me properly close this out. One moment, please. Thank you very much. Gratitude. Thank you. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. So with that being said, I'll be back to do the rest of this. Y'all enjoy the day. Don't forget to stop in at Mouthpiece this afternoon for, I'm sure it's Black Hatred number 10,155 now. His episode of Come On, Brother. It'll be on this afternoon. Make sure that you have your notification bell set. You never know with this guy. This guy got a little time problem. But we love him all the same. Anyway, be well, stay safe. Enjoy your holiday weekend. For those who celebrate, just enjoy the day of life. And remember, your ancestors have been calling you. And you're hearing the echoes of their footprints. Answer the call. They're right there to help you at all times. Ashe. And I'll see you all very, very soon.
Every dream ain't full in mine. I am the voice they couldn't be. Now they echo through me. Now they echo through me. Time floating in my veins. Past and present feel the same. I heal something I can't see. Still illusions inside of me. Every step I reclaim breaks a chain I never named. And somewhere back in history, they breathe easier through me. I'm not walking alone. I carry their name in every loss, in every game. They planted seeds I didn't see. Now they rising up through me. Every tear got a sacred wife. Every foe got 1,000 tries. I am the prayer they couldn't speak. Now they echo through me. Echo, echo. Now they echo me. Echo, echo. Through me. Echo, echo.
On this low coast where sand gives way to marsh and tide, St. Augustine rose 4 centuries ago. The Spanish chose a patch of higher ground ringed by creeks and barrier islands to anchor their outpost. Here, Africans, some free.
Along this edge of northeast Florida, salt marshes and sandbars created a labyrinth of water and grass. In the 1700s and 1800s, enslaved people slipped into the maze at night, rowing toward these barrier islands near St. Augustine. In morning light, gardens took root among the ruins. Hands that once rode through darkness turned the soil, fed families, and shaped a home. Their children grew up hearing the surf.
The first thing the ancestors are wanting the collective to understand is that there's still life, fire, and spirit connected to this place. So right away, this is letting us know that this place is tied to movement toward a new beginning, even if it came through struggle and uncertainty and risk. Something is trying to wake up.
Something is trying to wake up. And I did see that. It flashed in front of me. Somebody taking like a long stretch and a big yawn. Something is trying to reconnect and trying to push people out of their own way and into motion. Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am.
Wow, this place, it's beautiful. Fort Mose. In Fort Mose, they were living, organizing, protecting each other, building community, and creating structure. After everything they'd been through, they made music, they broke bread, they taught their children they were free. That kind of courage doesn't just survive, it grows. And it
Set them free, echo, echo, through me. Set them free.
The expansion continues.
Dear friend.